Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be taking a virtual field trip where we will venture into the controversy surrounding fast food. Fast food includes any restaurants where food is quickly prepared or prepared in batches that is sold through a drive-through system where cars can conveniently pull up to the window and receive their food. This might include some of your favorite places like KFC, Taco Bell, Raising Cane's, McDonald's, Rally's, or any places like the pictures of the food I have included here. Many people enjoy fast food, but do they consider or know about the possible issues that can arise from it, or do you think that there are no possible issues? Common arguments both for and against drive-thrus are that many people feel that fast food is convenient, cheap, and easy for busy parents or people on a budget, or others feel that commonly long wait times and continuous trips often made daily causes an incredibly high waste in carbon emissions. Many might argue that littering is another problem created by fast food, since people eat their food on the go in cars on many occasions. Others feel that there are much higher contributors to carbon emissions and that it does not impact enough to be concerning. Some argue that with the increasing number of car owners with electric or automatic cars that turn off during wait times, that the drive-thrus are less of an issue than other emitters. These are just some of the possible arguments commonly made. But what are some more that you could make based on your current position on the subject? With that, there are a few questions that I want you to consider before we continue diving deeper into this controversy. Number 1, does the increase of fast food and the convenience of a drive-thru restaurant impact the amount of emissions on the globe, or are there bigger contributors that matter more? Number 2, why do you think people continue to spend money on fast food despite a possible increase to their carbon footprint? And number 3, what problems do you think might come from fast food restaurants and drive-thrus? Take a moment to think about your answers to those questions, and then think about number 4. What do you think? And are you for or against fast food? With that, let's travel back in time over 50 years to when the controversy first began. In 1947, 57 years after the creation of the first car, the first fast food restaurant called Red's Giant Hamburg was created in Springfield, Missouri off Route 66. The restaurant was founded by Sheldon Red Cheney, hence the name. The restaurant closed in 1984 but was since reopened in 2019 with the same menu. A fun fact is that it's named Hamburg instead of hamburger because Red could not fit the whole word on the vertical part of the sign. The photos on the right show you images of Red and the restaurant both then and now, and the video I will now show you shows some of the video of the commercial that was made for it in 1947.
About Reds, it's a rockin' little place where I eats my lunch. I hang around with the West Side Bunch. There ain't never been no energy crunch, and the reason is
Since then, all of the fast food places we know and love today have been created, starting from their first ever drive-thrus. As I show you the timeline of popular fast food drive-thru creations throughout history, see if your favorite one is on here. In 1948, In-N-Out was created with the drive-thru, and this had the first two-way speaker. In 1950, Jack in the Box drive-thru was created in San Diego. In 1962, the first Taco Bell drive-thru was created in Downey, California. It only had 5 items, and they were sold for about 19 cents each. In 1963, the KFC first drive-thru was created in Glendale, Ohio. And in 1969, Wendy's was created with a drive-thru, and it had the first modern-day pickup window. In 1975, the first McDonald's drive-thru was created in Sierra Vista, Arizona, which had the first streamlined menu. And also in 1975, the first Burger King drive-thru was created. Now let's travel back to the current time and see how much time has changed. As of 2024, there are more than 200,859 fast food restaurants in America, with many of the original restaurants we saw being billion-dollar corporations with numerous chains throughout not only America, but many other countries as well. On average, meals that were once 19 cents are now $6 to $10 per person, and close to 36.6% of Americans eating fast food daily, which is the equivalent of 84.8 million people a day, contribute to the fast food crisis. And according to a historical review by Claremont Colleges, McDonald's alone feeds 46 million people a day. Another source from January 8, 1990, in the Deseret newsletter stated McDonald's company posts earnings of $727 million for 1989, which you have to think is a lot more money then than it is now. These facts all show how popular these drive-thrus really are and have been since their first creation. That being said, how does that affect us, and where do the points made from the beginning come in? For the people who are pro-fast food, a common argument is that many feel that fast food restaurants are cheap and they are great for busy parents or people in general who are always on the go. Well, per person, on average in Indiana, one household spends $318.03 a month on groceries and $300 a month if they were to eat out, though some statistics argue that the overall cost annually would still be lower in a household if they were to have more home-cooked meals. Some also argue that yes, there are carbon emissions increasing from fast food, but there are other factors that influence the CO2 emissions more. And while yes, other factors are very close to the amount transportation influences carbon emissions, transportation actually accounts for approximately 28% of all emissions. Industry and electric power burned by fossil fuels comes close with 23 and 25%. So I want you to think, how big of a difference do you think that 3% is making on overall emissions? Another argument made is that busy individuals have said it takes less time making a meal than it would be to order out, and a lot of people don't have hours to spend on meals. On average, it takes approximately 23 minutes to cook breakfast, 30 minutes for lunch, and 49 minutes for dinner, depending on the meal. This adds up to an hour and 42 minutes a day to cook, including preparation time. However, many fast food restaurants claim food is prepared and given to the customer in 5 minutes or less. Now, have you ever waited longer than that? Another argument made was that people don't have to get presentable. No one will see me except the cashier, and I can stay in my pajamas in my car. And another argument made was that it also helps reduce waste. There are no scraps of food like forgotten leftovers just thrown away, and there are many items there that are recyclable. Well, 85% of fast food materials are either compostable or recyclable. Many also make a good point that there are more electric cars to date than ever before in history since the original creation in 1890, with over 2.4 million registered cars in 2022, which saved 50 to 70% of CO2 emissions from entering the atmosphere. And to conclude the pro argument, a popular ad with this quote in 1979 from a Gazette stated, "Newlyweds know it. Nobody can do it like McDonald's," and which just goes to show how fast food restaurants are here to stay and they are still growing each day. Now I will play for you an interview from Chase Hoskins, a 21-year-old college student who is pro fast food. Okay, before we get started, can you tell me your name and your age?
I'm Chase Hoskins. I'm 21 years old.
Do you think that fast food restaurants should end or should they continue?
I think they should continue.
Why do you think that?
They're quick and easy. They're pretty cheap. They might be a little sub-quality, but I think a lot of them have really good food. And they're good for, you don't have to go to the Texas Roadhouse and get a $20 meal. You can go get a $5 meal at McDonald's. And a lot of them have quick and easy breakfast for when you're on your way to work.
Okay, thank you. Now, I want you to write out all of the different ways that your opinion has been affected and the thoughts that you had after hearing all of the facts and arguments for pro-fast food people. And I want you to take a minute to write down those thoughts and those changes that you have. Now let's talk about the arguments against fast food restaurants in the future. One and the biggest argument made, but one argument is that many people think that drive-thrus impact carbon emissions greatly, which is technically correct, as 30% of all global carbon emissions comes from fast food restaurants. In 1947, when the first fast food restaurants were built, like we previously talked about, the total carbon emissions in the atmosphere, as said by the Nature Conservancy, was 310.4 ppm. And now, after hundreds of thousands of restaurants later, there is 421.55 ppm in the atmosphere. Overall, since the introduction of cars and fast food, the emissions in our atmosphere have grown 111.15 ppm. Another argument made is that yes, many of the materials are recyclable, but food being eaten in cars due to fast food contributors is part of the reason of how littered our world has become. Yes, 49% of all litter comes from fast food, and the biggest culprits being McDonald's, Starbucks, and Wendy's. Another argument made is that doctors think that fast food contributes to obesity rates and has made heart disease the number one cause of death. While fast food is associated with a higher BMI, which in turn often leads to heart disease, an individual who eats fast food more than 2 times a week is 50% more likely to be or become obese, showing the connection between fast food and health issues. However, heart disease has been the leading cause of death since 1921, which was before fast food was created. Fast food also has poorly made products meant to withstand temperatures or sitting out in the restaurant for faster service, which in turn has created health issues. Yes, most fast food, depending on where you go, does have an increase of things like sodium, saturated and total fats, oils, etc., with much more of amounts than the average home-cooked meals. High amounts of these can cause health issues, but it is not directly linked. And in addition, many argue that organic groceries and home-cooked meals with them are healthier for you. And as previously said, yes, home-cooked meals contain much more nutritious amounts than fast food, but some fast food places, such as Chipotle, offer nutritious substitutes or add-ons which can even out the nutrition amounts. Now I'll have you listen to this interview from Cameron Ayler, a 21-year-old college student who is against fast food restaurants. Okay, before we get started, can you tell me your name and your age?
My name is Cameron and I'm 21 years old.
Okay, and do you believe that fast food restaurants should end or that they should continue?
I think they should end.
Why do you think that they should end? Can you give me some reasons?
Yes, so I think they should end because of how bad for the earth they are. The insane wait times that I've experienced myself are enough to show that they contribute to emissions, which therefore affects global warming. I also believe that fast food places do whatever makes them the most money, including killing animals for their food in inhumane ways, which is just cruel. I also think that fast food has contributed to many deaths for the same reason I said before. They are only interested in money, not nutritious products for their customers.
Okay, thank you. Now, I want you to evaluate this argument. Write down your thoughts or how it has changed or not changed your opinion after hearing it. And finally, I want you to write a paragraph over which side you are taking in this controversy. Include why you have chosen this side and state facts from the field trip to guide your argument. This last slide is to provide you with my sources, and if you would like additional information on the research used in this field trip or are interested in further researching fast food restaurant effects, you can click any of these links.